Good evening, madam.
Well, hello, George.
Have you seen what inflation is doing to the price of food?
Yes, in some countries food has risen 20% in 1 month. How about cotton, wheat, and corn? They are all on the rise, leading to mass riots in some countries.
Why don't these evil corporations stop increasing the prices, especially when our citizens don't even have enough money to buy food for their own children?
Oh, George. You sound just like those Democrats in America. It isn't the evil corporations causing prices to increase so rapidly. It is the government greed of the American policymakers.
How do you come to believe that?
Let me explain the basic economics of inflation, my young Padawan learner. First of all, inflation isn't the rising cost of food or other items that you'll buy.
So then, what is inflation? My old Queen teacher.
Inflation is what governments do with their money. They inflate it.
How?
By printing more money without anyone voting on it. Let me give you a history lesson that will help you to understand this more easily.
Go for it.
Long time ago, when the earth was ruled by kings, the kings would put their mark on all the gold coins in the kingdom. After some time passes by, the king would do what all tyrants do. He wanted to expand his power.
How did he do that?
He would call in his accountant and ask for a report on how much money he had. Then, he would call in his generals and ask if that was enough money to conquer another kingdom. The general would give the king the bad news. "King, we need twice as much money as we have in the treasury," said the general. So, the king would devise a plan on how to raise this money. The king issued a decree. Everyone who had gold coins must bring them in and have a new mark stamped on the coin. So, you would go to lunch while your coins were getting this new mark. When you got back, you had new shiny coins with a new mark on it and were very happy. But, when you went to the baker to buy a loaf of bread, the owner saw your coins and demanded that you give him 2, not 1, as he required yesterday.
So he raised the price by 1 coin. I told you it was the evil corporation who raises prices on the middle class.
George, let me finish the story, then you can tell me who you think is evil. The baker knew something that the citizen didn't, and that is why he required 2 coins.
What did he know?
The baker knew that when the king took the citizen's coins, he reduced the amount of gold in each coin by half. So, even though the coin had a new mark on it, the coin only had half as much gold in it as before. So the baker understood that the coin lost value, and now he required 2 coins instead of 1. In fact, it took 2 coins from this new king to amount to 1 coin of gold of the old king.
So, what you are saying is that he inflated the amount of money in his treasury by increasing the number of coins he had, by reducing the amount of gold in each coin.
Exactly. What he did was to fill up his treasury by taking half of the gold from all his citizens. He inflated the coins with metals that were not gold, to give the illusion that nothing had changed.
So, he increased the amount of coins he had in his treasury, but in reality he still only had the same amount of gold. Is that right?
By George, you almost got it. What he did was to increase the amount of coins, or in our case, money, but the total value of all the coins remained the same. What was reduced in value was the worth of each single coin. Since each coin lost value, it took more coins to buy that loaf of bread.
So, it wasn't the baker who increased the price of his bread, it was the king who reduced the value of the coin, which meant the citizen now had half as much money as they did before coming to the king.
George, you're on your way to being a very smart boy. So, let me ask you a few questions to make sure you have it.
Okay.
Did it take the baker more hours to make that loaf of bread?
No.
Did it take the baker more people to make that loaf of bread?
No.
Did it take the baker more equipment to make that loaf of bread?
No.
So, the baker didn't have any reason to increase his price for bread, did he?
No.
So, here is why the loaf of bread cost more. What was traded for that loaf of bread, the gold coin, lost value. So the bread didn't increase in cost a single penny. It was the gold coin that lost value, which gave the illusion of the cost of bread going up. So, George, Who is more evil? The corporation, which makes the bread, or the government, that inflates your money, reducing how much bread you can buy?
Don't we get to vote on the printing of more money?
No. It is taxation without representation.
So, is this what the Bernanke in America is doing?
Yes, he and those Americans who got so mad at us in 1776 for requiring a small tax on their precious tea are now printing money to buy what they can't afford.
But I thought they were borrowing the money to buy what they can't afford.
Yes, but those of us in the world no longer believe they will be able to pay us back, so we are lending them less than they are spending.
Just how much are they spending?
Almost $3.7 trillion.
Get out of town.
No, George, I won't get out of town. The cost of gas is too high.
How much money have those Americans printed?
By the end of 2011, it will be almost $3 trillion.
You're got to be kidding me.
I wish I were.
So, by the Bernanke and his president printing more money, it means their money is losing value.
Yes, since they are not following solid economic policy, by only spending what they earn and not printing more money when we tell them no more loans, then we start to lose faith in the value of their money. This loss of faith is what causes your food prices to increase, since it takes more dollars to buy what you want.
So inflation isn't the rising of prices. It is the evil policies of those in the American government who are printing more money, which reduces the value of a single dollar, which means bakers require more dollars to buy a loaf of bread.
Well, George, I think you finally got it. So who is evil? The corporation who makes the bread, or the policy makers who print more money, reducing how much bread you can buy?
But if this is so evil, why don't the Americans vote for someone smarter?
Because, George, they haven't seen this video.
So, we should make sure that every American sees this video. Maybe I can get CNN or Fox News to show this video, and those Americans can learn what their government is doing to their money. Have a good day.
Yes, George, now run along. I have work to do, trying to figure out how to fix the problems the American policy makers are causing the rest of the world.